Hey everybody, Royce from Hill Country CNC and Woodworking, and I wasn't going to make a video about this, but it kind of turned out to be interesting. So today I'm making sawdust. No, actually I made these two components, and the video is not about what I made, it's about how I made it. So if you stick with me, I'm going to kind of run you through an interesting problem that I had, which was taking a positive and a negative form and separating them in Fusion 360. I thought it was pretty interesting, so I'm going to run you through it. This is what I made. So if you look at it, this is what I call outie. It's the upper version, the male portion. And this is innie, that's the female portion. And basically when they go together, they're a perfect fit, right? So in Fusion 360, you could build them separately, which is what I was gonna do, but I went with the hive mind criteria and was like, hey guys, do you have any ideas how I can make that easier? And they showed me a way, and I'm gonna show you the way to just pull them apart. It's amazing, it's really cool. So stick with me. This video is about Fusion 360, not about innie and outie. And I'll show you how I did it. I'll also kind of explain this mess. There's about 50 tons of sawdust. And, well, I'll show you the end. I'll show you me cutting it. It's kind of cool. Stick with me. All right, so not rocket science here. I'm going to show you a couple files that I pre-created just so you get an idea of what I'm making. And this is basically a press form. It's pretty simple. You have a 15 by 15 inch form with a 9.5 inch round circle that goes down 0.4 inch. That's the basic concept. So I'm going to walk you through building it real quick. So we open up a new sketch. We go ahead and pick our surface. And I'm going to make a rectangle. And make it 15 by 15. Pretty simple. Down in the comments, I'd love to know if you can see everything crystal clear, because when I make this, it doesn't look crystal clear to me. So I'm putting a diagonal line across, and that'll make sense for the circle in a second. So if you have this diagonal line across in Fusion 360, when you find that center, it gives you that little triangle, and now you've centered your circle, which I said was going to be 9.5 inches in diameter. And that's it. Okay, we're just going to delete that center line real quick. It's just not needed. We could leave it there. It doesn't matter. And turn off dimensions. They make everything annoying. Then I'm going to extrude this so we can start building our profile. And I'm just going to hit E for extrude. And I randomly made this 3.5 inches, but it didn't really matter. So turn the sketch back on so you can see what you're working with. I'm going to extrude again. And this had to be 0.4 less. So I did the math in my head and threw it on there. And now you can see that we have this little dip. So now I'm going to go to chamfer or fillet. I call them chamfer, but same thing. And then I had no requirement for what radius I was going to do this part. So I just kind of played around with it, and I guessed 0.5 seemed good. So I just went with that. And it auto changes the bottom tier when you do that to the 0.5 radius. So it does some of the work for you. So I'll go ahead and apologize. I left a few seconds here that were just like, I don't know why I did this. But anyway, I'm building my second sketch for the second component. So I went ahead and did the same thing, selected my surface, and now I'm just zooming in and out for no apparent reason. Sorry. I'm creating another rectangle. It's going to be exactly the same size, 15 by 15, or 15 by 15. Yeah, that was an error. So 15 by 15. And I'll extrude this one, but this time I'm extruding it to double the density of the first piece. So when I turn on the bodies for both, you'll see right here, it's twice as thick. So now basically, this is the trick. This is the whole reason for the video, is we're going to take that big piece and we're just going to move it over on top of the first piece that we made. And they will join together in Fusion 360, right? So then you go to modify, eventually. And do split body. You choose the body, the main selection that you want to split. And then you do the splitting tool selection and choose the other body. I don't know why it's got the weird purple there. But then you'll see over on the left, we now have 3 bodies. So body 1, body 2, which has now disappeared, and body 3. Okay, so now we're just looking at body 3, and you can see that it's the inverse of body 1, which is exactly what we needed. Now all we got to do is spend forever flipping it around. This is just for visual, so I can see, yeah, that actually worked. So now I'm going to go back to my move and just flip it 180 degrees. Now I will admit this portion of the video did not go well. I taught myself CAD, okay guys? Like, Fusion 360 is just something I learned on my own. I did go to school for AutoCAD, but Fusion 360 and AutoCAD don't line up perfectly. So some of this gets really confusing to me. And you'll see me fool around with it right now. I put it at the wrong depth of plane. And basically I'm just going to spend a couple minutes getting it to line up. You can look down below. I always do chapters, and you can just skip this foolery that I'm doing right now. I'd probably just edit it out, but it was part of the process. Part of me losing my mind getting these things to line up. And why did I get them to line up? There's no reason. Because they literally don't need to line up. They're 2 separate components now. They match each other. They're exact. And when I change them, or when I set them for computer-aided machining, the program totally looks at them as 2 separate pieces. So if you're still with me, stick with me. Please subscribe. I'm at 964 followers or subscribers. I'm really close to that monetization point where the whole world opens up for me. I'm able to do so many more things. This isn't my pocketbook paying for this stuff. I can start showing you more of what I'm doing because of ad revenue and stuff like that that YouTube will be paying me for. So please subscribe, please like, please leave comments. If you have a question, ask. I answer most questions. Every once in a while there's something I can't answer because I don't know the answer. And usually I'll tell you, I don't know that. I'm just a CNC dude. Okay, thanks. So I'm back here with my PwnCNC 2.2 kilowatt spindle. I love this thing. It's the water cooled. You'll see those lines up top. It works great. And then the Onefinity CNC with the Masso controller. I am super happy with my upgrade to the Masso. And I should mention, as you're watching like all this stuff fly everywhere, bro, why are you not using your dust boot? You have this amazing dust collection system. If you haven't watched it, I went over it in a different video. And it totally boils down to the fact that I would have had to shift my entire spindle up, and I just didn't want to do that. That's all there is to it. I knew this was going to be messy, didn't expect it to be quite this messy, but I spent 20 years in the infantry, so when it's time to get dirty, it's just time. So I'm just cutting it out now, and it's sped up a lot, by the way, if you didn't know that. The cool part that I didn't quite expect, because Fusion 360 did all the cam for this, was that it actually used this bit, the 46055K, to do most of the roundover. So when I came over here with my roundover bit, there wasn't actually a whole lot that had to be done. It just flew through it and smoothed everything out, making almost a just absolutely perfect bevel. And so just a couple notes. I used the 3/8 shank bit primarily because the thicker your shank is on, you know, a down cut, up cut, or compression bit, the less chance of any stress on that bit or even breaking the bit happens. I think it's a very wise choice. And then on the roundover, it was partially because it's what I have, but it was the radius roundover size that I thought would work best for that 0.5 fillet that I talked about in the programming. Well, that's it, folks. Oh, and here's my dust collection. I fixed it. Every pass, I get a little extra dust collection. Yeah. Awesome. Anyway, so that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. The project came out great. I got to learn something, and I hope I got to pass that on to you. Please ask questions and like and subscribe. So this is the top and bottom version. You can see that the roundover was really nice. And this is a press, so obviously it was made out of very thick hickory that would stand the test of time, hopefully.